Greetings, people of Earth and beyond. Welcome back again to another video for me on the same day, so that's why I have the same shirt. But another video about God and Ganja. This one is a TED Talk from Josh Stanley. It's talking about pediatric epilepsy and medicinal marijuana. Okay, let's get into it.
All right, I'm so stoked to be up here with you guys tonight to talk about weed, bro. I'm just kidding with you guys. We are going to chit-chat just a little bit about some medical cannabis, though, tonight.
Medical cannabis.
Back in 2010, I had the honor to help co-author a House bill here in Colorado that I had hoped would help
He's in Colorado.
seriously ill patients get access to medicinal cannabis while allowing for responsible rules and regulations around what I think most would consider a very misunderstood industry. However, what happened, in my opinion, were some of the most loathsome examples of the misuse of cannabis law and cannabis usage that I could have imagined. Now, you guys, come on. You guys all remember this, right? This is back when that horrible epidemic of back pain just swept across college campuses. Oh, it was terrible.
This is kind of what the other guy was talking about.
People like my friend Ben here, for example, right? Yeah. He never tires of thanking me for all the work that I did so now he could enjoy the freedom of his recreational pleasure. That's not really what I do, so that got under my skin for some time because I really felt like all of the work that we did had quite literally just gone up in smoke. But you know what? My disdain for this type of abuse didn't last that long because I realized that if it weren't for old Ben here and the back pain epidemic, none of us here tonight would have ever had the opportunity to meet a very special friend of mine, Charlotte Figge.
Charlotte Figge, that's why I wanted to make this video. This is actually a good story, almost heartwarming story. I have come to find out that she died a while back, but she had a lot of health issues on top of what they were helping with. And it's crazy that they were able to help her. It's almost a miracle that they were able to help her. Like he's saying, the only reason he was able to help her is because of the market for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can clap. Charlotte, besides being dear to my heart, is a 6-year-old.
She was 16, she made it to 13.
Yeah, there's Chase, there's her twin sister. And like most 6-year-olds, Charlotte, she just loves the color pink, loves to go play in the woods with her twin sister Chase and her older brother Max. I hear you, baby. Yeah. Charlotte's an explorer, and for good reason that we're going to get into here a little bit later. She also happens to be one of the most frequent cannabis users that I know.
Frequency. It's about frequency. Medicine has a frequency. It wears off. If I take Tylenol at 8 o'clock, at 1 p.m., the effect of it is going to wear off. And if I'm actually sick and I still have a fever or whatever I'm dealing with, I'm still dealing with the pain from the surgery, from getting my wisdom teeth pulled out, or whatever it is, it's going to wear off, and I'm going to need to dose myself again.
When you take Tylenol at low doses, it blocks the perception of pain. At higher doses, the endogenous cannabinoid system helps reduce inflammation. So if you're going to take Tylenol, you want to take a higher dose, like 1,000 milligrams, but you have to leave more time. Don't take it too frequently or we ruin our liver. 1,000 milligrams every 10 to 12 hours is substantially better than 325, every 4 hours. Ibuprofen, over the counter, you get 200 milligrams, and it says take 200 to 400 milligrams. Take those every 4 to 6 hours. Super dangerous to take ibuprofen all of the time. At 400 milligrams, it doesn't really kick in to get rid of inflammation. That's the reason why when doctors prescribe it, they give you 600 and 800 milligrams. At 600 milligrams, it maximizes pain relief. At 800 milligrams, it maximizes inflammation reduction. If you take 800 milligrams routinely, you're for sure going to destroy your stomach lining. If you could take 800 milligrams of ibuprofen and wait 12 hours or 24 hours, then you've given your body time to reduce the stomach insult. In both cases of ibuprofen and Tylenol, a larger dose with a longer duration will work substantially better than a small dose consistently. That's what I wanted to tell you.
I took 2 Benadryl before going to bed last night, and I just woke up. It's 3 p.m. Is that normal? I didn't even go out last night. I stayed in and I played Roblox and I got McDonald's. Happy Saturday.
Hi, my name is Dr. Rubin. I'm a board-certified allergist. Diphenhydramine, also known as Benadryl, is an antihistamine medication that can readily cross the blood-brain barrier and make people very sleepy. The reason why people feel drowsy for many hours after taking the medication is because the elimination half-life of Benadryl is about 9 hours on average for adults, and as you get older, that half-life elimination time lengthens. And what we mean by this is that it takes about 9 hours for most people to eliminate half of Benadryl from their body, and it takes about 5 half-lives in order for the effects of the medication to be completely worn off for most people. This is why the FAA requires that pilots do not fly for at least 60 hours after taking Benadryl, because they could still feel drowsy effects even a couple days later.
This is where I feel like a lot of people they're not using medicinal and frequency in the same category, because there are people who take 30 pills a day, every day, some of the pills twice a day, every so often, 2 hours apart. And sometimes you have to eat food for this one and not eat food for this one. You have to have this one 6 hours after this one, and they all don't mix. And there's a whole process and they have like little capsules, and they're like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They do it every day. Smoke weed every day. They do medicine every day. If weed is a medicine, you should be allowed to do it every day. And the frequency shouldn't matter if the effect is positive. This is the argument.
There it is. There's the word, cannabis.
Cannabis.
Incites all kinds of different people, different things to different people. To some people, it's the devil's weed,
Adults
right?
only.
Others,
She's a
it's
kid.
just
She's
a
6 years old. Why
pseudo-medical
would you
excuse
give
to
her
get
$50?
high. And yet others find true medicinal benefit with it.
True
But
medicine.
at the end of the day, what are we talking about here? We're just talking about a plant. Okay, this is a plant that grows anywhere from 3 to 8 feet tall, typically. About every 7 to 10 weeks, it'll produce a flower or a bud, as you know it. But that's it, just a plant. It even grows on 6 continents. But it's a plant that
How many
Charlotte
other plants grow on 6
uses a
continents?
lot of to control her grand mal seizures. And in no uncertain terms, Charlotte's life depends on this plant. You see,
in no uncertain terms, her life depends on the plant. Let's just say she had no access to the plant. Let's just say the plant was illegal in her state. Let's just say Christians condemned her parents for using that choice to help their daughter. They condemn the parents. Oh, you're a bad parent. You give your child cannabis. And obviously it's a synthesized form. You're not gonna have your 6-year-old daughter out back at the bar, you know what I mean? But the two are not disconnected. They are part of the same plant.
Charlotte was diagnosed when she was 3 months old with a very, very rare and violent form of epilepsy known as Dravet syndrome. And Charlotte will experience a very high number of what we call tonic-clonic or grand mal seizures. About one every 20 to 25 minutes, guys. And these seizures...
One seizure every 20 to 25 minutes. Could you imagine trying to survive that, especially as a child? Could you imagine being a parent and watching your daughter go through that and then having people at church judge you because you found a solution? You know, this is what I feel like people don't talk about.
These seizures will last anywhere from 15 to 25 minutes. So in essence, Charlotte's life is spent in a seizure and catatonic state. Twice, Charlotte's mother, Paige, has had to bring her back to life using CPR. At any given time, Charlotte will be on 7 daily different pharmaceutical seizure medications, none of which control her seizures.
That's crazy, is it not? Doctors have looked at her, understand what's going on. They can tell you she's having this type of seizure and this is the reason why. And they give you medicine they give her 7 different medicines. A 6-year-old girl is taking 7 different medicines and none of them actually help. How desperate would you be to find something that did help?
When Charlotte was 5 years old, her seizures had reached their worst. And her medical team told the Figgy family things like, start making preparations for her death. She's probably not going to wake up from this. And the Figgies reluctantly signed a do not resuscitate order for Charlotte around this time, and she was sent home with a fitted chair, a feeding tube in her belly as she'd lost all of her life skills, and the family to say their goodbyes. Now, Didn't look good for Charlotte. Didn't seem like she'd pull through. But remember, thanks to my old friend Ben and that back pain epidemic, wasn't the end for Charlotte. And the Figgies weren't about to give up hope. And they set out on a journey.
Cannabis gives people hope. It's almost like God put it here for a reason, you know?
To find, of all people, my family. Well, I come from a very, very large family, okay? I'm the oldest of 11 kids, and nope, we're not Mormon, we're not Catholic. Nope. Apparently, they were just incredibly fertile. Yeah. And me and my 5 younger brothers, amazing brothers, Joel, Jesse, Jonathan, Jordan, and Jared, and our honorary brother, Dr. Sanjay Gupta. We set out on a mission, a very unique mission, to breed a special strain of cannabis plant, one that was essentially free of the psychoactive compound that you all know as tetrahydrocannabinol, or THC, right? And one that was very, very high in the little-known non-psychoactive compound called CBD, or cannabidiol.
Okay. He's talking about different types of strains of cannabis because cannabis has two active ingredients. It has THC, which gets you high, and CBD, which is what soothes the body, cannabidiol. He's saying that they made a version that has very minimal THC, very high CBD, which would mean that it's more medicinal than it is intoxicating, which is good for the girl.
We succeeded in this effort in January of 2012. And this is right around the time that the Figgies were signing their Do Not Resuscitate order. And as luck would have it, Paige Figgy found us in February of 2012. Now, my brothers and I have been reading a lot of studies.
Is that a coincidence, or is that divine
from the 80s, 90s, and up to today on this research? Although, strangely enough, seems like America knew about this 65 years ago. But that's...
In 1949, a research report, marijuana leaf plays epilepsy cure role.
Talk for another day. My brothers and I thought
any suppression
this little known compound might
Yeah.
just be the missing link to provide some validity in the realm of cannabis research. And as it turns out, we were correct. Now, the plant that we had created, while it may have immense medical benefits, completely non-psychoactive, okay? Completely useless to Ben. So we named the plant the hippie's disappointment. Yeah. And while it didn't prove useful to Ben, it proved incredibly useful to little Charlotte. And so when Paige called us that February, told us of Charlotte's condition, we were ready to jump in. We were ready to help. In fact, we couldn't wait until Paige dropped the bomb on us. Charlotte was 5 years old. And think about it for a minute. We're going to give a 5-year-old cannabis? Literally, visions of this were popping in my head. But we got over this pretty quickly, and we began to extract and formulate in ratio a non-psychoactive, lab-tested pediatric tincture for Charlotte. And I'm happy.
Okay, I would argue that the psychoactive effects fade with consistent use, so that the actual cannabidiol is still having the effect, even if there are high THC. And I believe that there is an effect of THC that can't be found within CBD. So I've tried CBD pods and CBD weed and whatever, and it does have a soothing effect. It's just it feels diluted. I wouldn't suggest the psychoactive one for the 5-year-old, but if you're 18 and older, even 21 and older, the effect can be regulated even with the psychoactive.
I tell you that within the first administration, Charlotte went from having a seizure every 20 to 25 minutes. That's 400 a week, guys.
Holy crap.
Down to 0 to 1 per week.
0 to 1 a week? A miracle, right? Would you not call that a miracle?
Thank you. And Charlotte was off 100% of her pharmaceuticals. No more pharmaceuticals.
No more pharmacia. So a plant provided more relief to a child with 400 seizures a week than the best medicine at the time was able to do, even though she was taking 7 different kinds of medication for the symptom. That almost sounds like a miracle. It sounds like they found something worth paying for and worth supporting on a governmental level.
Is now awake. She's alive. And guys, real special treat for you tonight.
Ballerina. Dance.
Oh. I never got it, so it hits home. You know? I couldn't imagine my daughter having 400 seizures a week, me finding cannabis and having anybody saying cannabis should not be legalized. You know what I mean? What if there's a girl in Texas where it isn't legal dealing with that same stuff? Could you imagine if it was your daughter?
Isn't she amazing? And so we changed the name of the plant from the Hippie's Disappointment, and now the name is affectionately called Charlotte's Web, in honor of Charlotte. And it always will be Charlotte's Web. Now, Charlotte's not an isolated incident here. We currently treat over 40 pediatric patients here in Colorado with the same, similar, and believe it or not, even better results than what Charlotte experiences. And currently there are over...
Okay, so to me, this is an argument of the medicinal power of cannabis as a plant. What they were able to do was synthesize and extract the medicinal value of it. But I don't believe that THC is invaluable. It's just not valuable on a medicinal level, according to the 40 patients he's talking about. But the whole idea is if you can't grow cannabis, if you can't sell cannabis, if cannabis is illegal, if it's a Schedule 1 narcotic, you know what I mean? If there's a war on its existence, there's an issue because people are almost arguing it doesn't have a medicinal effect. You just want to smoke. And it's like, it can have a medicinal effect. It does have a medicinal effect. And to ignore that is ignorance in a way. I don't know. But you can take too many pills, right? You can take too many ibuprofens. It says do not take more than 3 of these in a 24-hour period or whatever. You can have an overdose effect. As far as I understand, there has never been an overdose of marijuana. What a safety protocol.
There are no deaths from cannabis use anywhere. You can't find one.
In 10,000 years of known use of marijuana, there's never been a single death attributed to marijuana. There's 400,000 deaths in America alone every year that are directly attributed to tobacco.
I've heard that you have to smoke something like 15,000 joints in 20 minutes to get a toxic amount of delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol. I challenge anybody to do that.
Families coming from all over the world to Colorado to take part in our treatment program. We're soon to move into California as well, where we literally have over 1,000 children with pediatric epilepsy and their families waiting for us. And
that's crazy. 1,000 people are waiting. Children, mind you. And adults are arguing that because of their comfort level, this should not be legal. It's going to make me uncomfortable. I don't want to support that. I can't support that. And I know a lot of it was religious, especially at this time.
We'll be moving to other states as soon as laws will allow us.
See, it's
we have
just
a very
a law
special young man here in the audience tonight. Where you at, buddy? Zakai Jackson? There's my man. Buddy. There's Zakai. What's up, Bubba? Right here. Hey, man, give me 5. Zakai Jackson, our number 2 patient, right after Charlotte. Great friend of ours. Zakai, unfortunately, he suffers from a syndrome known as DOSA syndrome. And before this treatment, Zakai was experiencing over 200 seizures a day. Okay? I'm happy to tell you guys now, on October 4th, in 2 weeks, we're all going to get together to celebrate Zakai's 1-year seizure-free anniversary.
Take a second, man. That's beautiful. When people quote that verse that says, every herb bearing seed, it has been made for you, for use and consumption. In a way, I almost feel like this is what I was talking about. And laws have never helped this. They're in the way. They're obstacles for this type of thing to happen. There's 1,000 people waiting at this time, however long ago this was.
And you know, it's very, very difficult for me as an outsider to relay what this means to families. And I wanted Zakai's mother, Heather Jackson, to tell you guys what this has meant to her.
And I get to say, after almost a decade, I get to meet him for the first time without all this seizure activity and drugs. If you can imagine waiting 10 years to meet your kid.
I cannot.
So you can see
That's crazy.
This has a positive impact on a lot of families. And so in light of that, my brothers and I started a nonprofit organization called The Realm of Caring. And The Realm helps to provide support, resources, education, physician-backed medical studies, as well as safe and affordable access to our treatment program. And currently, The Realm is in the middle of setting up study protocols with some of the country's top epileptologists in order to start getting down to the bottom of the science, even further as to why this plant is working so well for these children.
Maybe because God made it. That's why I called it. Anyway.
So, why is this plant working so well?
Why?
Well, cannabidiol has the highest anti-inflammatory and neuroprotectant properties found in nature. And CBD.
What the heck? The highest, what did he just say?
Anti-inflammatory and neuroprotectant properties found in nature.
Anti-inflammatory and neuroprotective properties found in nature. To this other video that I just made, this is why people don't smoke poison ivy, because it doesn't do that. This is the one thing in nature that does that. And the fact that it's in nature at all is crazy, because we've tried to synthesize pharmaceutical drugs in order to handle those things. And at least for Charlotte, the 7 drugs that they gave her wasn't even working. What are the odds that there would be something natural within the ground that you could plant and continue to plant that would have this big of an effect on the human body? Because it's people with deficiencies, but it's the human body itself that's reacting to the plant.
And CBD actually interacts with structures on the surface of brain cells known as receptors. And acting as that neuroprotectant and anti-inflammatory helps to decrease, and as you've seen, even eliminate seizure activity. Now, while we don't know, it seems as though CBD is actually playing a role in the repair of brain function. And research.
I say that weed helps me focus. Maybe that's why. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not the same thing. THC, CBD, maybe not. But, I mean, what are the odds that it is like that? We should do more research.
And our doctors believe that this is why Charlotte, Zakai, and other children in this program are actually experiencing an ongoing progression of motor, social, and developmental skills. Wow. Meaning that they're actually coming back to cognition more and more and more every day.
She got to meet herself. That's what he's saying. He's saying that the functionality of what was prior dysfunction is now so great that it's almost progression from what it used to be. It's not just subduing the symptoms, it's healing their body. It's healing their brain and the ability for the brain to not have seizures. Like, that's crazy.
Better, guys. I mean, it's phenomenal. Now, I think it's also important to note here that epilepsy is not the only thing that CBD seems to be helpful for. According to...
Interesting. See, because most people will be like, well, you're not Charlotte, so what are you talking about? Let's see what else he said.
Of our early studies and studies out of Israel right now are showing incredible results in PTSD, in migraines, depression, arthritis, cancer, and heart disease.
Migraines, cancer, depression, and heart disease. These are things we have medicine for. If you have a migraine, you take it or leave it. What if somebody needed to step out, use a little bit, or put a little tincture under their tongue or whatever? The idea that there's a stigma around the plant itself, that most people can't even get over the stigma enough to see the medicinal benefits that he's showcasing, not only in children, but in adults and in multiple different avenues of health issues. Multiple health issues are relieved by the use of CBD at least. But CBD is found within the plant. You can't have CBD without cannabis. It's just they extract it. They take out the good part and leave the other part for the people like his friend.
Even further studies, believe it or not, are showing that this little known compound might have the capabilities of helping to stop progression of Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, ALS, MS, and diabetes.
That's crazy.
Now,
what a miracle
I think
plant,
it's
right?
quite clear. We all know very, very, very little about this plant. We've lived in the last 80 years in this country under a cloud of propaganda and fear. And we're just now, though, we're starting to wake up from that fear. We're starting to replace that fear with acceptance, understanding, and education. And what's happening? Amazing things, right? Amazing discoveries. And that's what happens whenever you're able to lay fear to rest.
Fear not, for I am with you. Fear is not of God. The fact that you fear a plant so much that your state is still illegal is the reason why I'm making these videos. Because maybe I'll feel like this guy. Maybe I'll feel like I did something with the time that I was here. Maybe I'll feel like I helped to destigmatize something that was purposefully stigmatized, possibly by the industry that will sell you the other type of medicine. You know, never know.
We have a long way to go here. I want you all to think about something with me real quick. Charlotte is awake now, okay? After experiencing a 5-year darkness and fear type nightmare. I don't know how you'd feel, but me, I'd feel like doing some exploring. I'd feel like seeing the world, getting out there. Well, imagine Charlotte feels very much the same. Yet picture this. She can't even leave the state of Colorado. If she does, she faces a life and death situation without her medication. Not to mention the fact that the minute the Figgies family, when they leave the state of Colorado on a family vacation with her medicine, they become drug traffickers.
That's crazy. That's crazy. But it's true. How can we be a United States if you can go across from Colorado to Wyoming and get arrested for giving your child a medicine because of the type of medicine it was? That's crazy. She's limited. She's so limited. She's limited to the amount of states that will legalize. But why is it illegal? They're not mentioning that part. They're just allowing it to remain so that they get, I don't even know what you get out of it. Like, what do you get out of not letting her travel? You know what I mean? Like, and let's just say, like, you don't have to smell marijuana. You wouldn't see the plant as you drive past somewhere, like a farm. Like, I don't
They
know.
look like a pack of hardened criminals to me, don't they, you? So, you know, we can joke about this, and we can bring light to this, because honestly, the situation is ludicrous, people. It's ludicrous. Charlotte can't leave the state. How many other children can't get into the state to get this treatment? It's not that easy to pack your whole life up and move from wherever you are in the country or
That's
the
why
world,
there's
for that
1,000
matter,
kids in California.
and just
At this
relocate to Colorado. And furthermore, they shouldn't have to. Colorado children are not different physiologically than a child who lives in a Midwestern state.
Exactly. This is the stupidity of it. In all honesty, it's just like stupidity. It's crazy though. If it's legal in one state, it should be legal in all states, or it shouldn't be legal. Or, you know what I mean? Like, the United States isn't united on that front. I don't know. This came out 10 years ago. 10 years ago was that 2014? It's a while back.
And it hurts me to tell you this next part, but this is a reality we face all the time here. Just last week, a very special young boy in Indiana with Dravet syndrome passed away because his family couldn't get out here to get the treatment in time. And we couldn't send it to him because the law doesn't allow it.
I could understand not wanting a bunch of dispensaries with a bunch of BIMs claiming to have back pain and not really having back pain. But I can't understand any adult who hears about that and doesn't say, you know what? Let's just change that. Let's make sure that doesn't happen again. Let's make sure that those 1,000 kids don't turn into 1,000 headstones. What do you really care about? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, what are you really protecting?
Law allowed it. It's a next day air package. It's that easy. Folks, children are dying. Come on.
Talk about
We
propaganda,
can
right?
do better than this. As humans,
Propaganda.
we must do better than this. And I'm confident that we will do better than this. Now, just how many more Charlottes, how many more Zakais, how many more children are out there that this plant could potentially
Probably
provide relief
millions,
for?
if you're really honest about it. Holy crap.
This begs us to ask the question, are we willing to change our national view on medicinal cannabis and trade to save 1,000 more lives? How about just
What if it was
one
your kid?
more life?
See, we all look down on other people for the way they'll use the medicinal benefits or the legalization. But it's like, what if it was your kid and your kid needed something that was illegal in this state, but legal in this state, but you couldn't make it to that state? Like you work 7 days a week and you can't take off work to go to another state and all your bills are being paid. So you don't even have money to buy a plane ticket to get to the other state. You can't even drive to the other state because it's going to take longer to get there. And then by the time you get there, once you get there, you can't bring that back because that'll be illegal. What a criminal, right? I don't know. It just seems backwards to me. And it seems crazy to me that Christians would understand all of this and still have the same stance. It's like, that's what you think God would support? I don't know. That's what you think Jesus would say? Give to Caesar what is Caesar's. I don't know.
Well, guys, I have a very special friend here tonight who strongly believes this to be the case. And if y'all don't mind, I would love to introduce you to one of the most courageous little girls I've ever met in my life. Please welcome and meet Charlotte Figge and her parents, Matt and Paige.
Thank you.
Can you say hi to everybody?
I don't feel like I have tears, but yeah, it's emotional.
I think she's fascinated with you, and we're fascinated with her. Oh, we've got more. Thank you so much, Josh. I mean, that concludes our talk, but I wanted to ask a little bit more, maybe from the parents. I mean, how many other parents have you met, and is there a network of people that are in contact with the Stanley brothers, and how's that going?
There is a large network. Amanda and Heather are running Realm of Caring, and there's a huge amount of people coming here, having to move and uproot and coming here. I can't even give you a number. We take 4,000 calls a month.
I think there's some parents in the crowd tonight. If you're a parent, can you say hello? There's a couple. I mean, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, parents of, you know. Is there anything that surprised you about the treatment? I mean, probably that it worked, but is there anything else that wasn't covered in the talk?
It was the first treatment that we tried, and we tried everything, even diets that seem seemingly harmless. It was the first treatment we tried that worked this well, and that had beneficial side effects. There's not one negative side effect in it. It's just been beneficial. That is unheard of with epilepsy.
It's just an amazing story. We have a break. I want to meet. I want to hang. I mean, we were hanging out with Charlotte backstage. It's just amazing to watch somebody grow. And there's a lot more parents in the audience that have been in contact with the Stanley brothers. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you, Josh. An amazing talk. I really want to see that online.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you all.
I don't know, man. 10 years ago, still nothing's changed. Let's just see it. Let's Google it real quick. How many states legal marijuana? It's legal in 38 out of 50. In Texas, a couple different places, it's not legal. Idaho, is that Wyoming? Pretty sure that's Wyoming. That could be Wyoming. I don't know. I don't remember my states exactly, but over half the country has legalized it to some extent. The blue states are recreational, the green states are medical, and the gray states are nothing. So if you went from New Mexico to Texas, you would be a felon. I don't know. I think it's something that needs more discussion. Even after this 10 years, even after Charlotte has passed, I could not imagine my daughter needing something and me not getting it for her because somebody had a law. You know what I mean? Like, have you ever seen the movie John Q? Kind of feels like that. What would you do as a parent to protect your kid? And as a Christian, how do you stand against legalization without thinking about this type of thing. You know what I mean? To me, it's just ignorance. It's like you don't know what you don't know. So let me tell you, that's why I made this, God and Ganja. I'm going to talk about both. I'm going to talk about the correlation and how I believe God actually made weed, and possibly for these reasons. You know what I mean? Never know. I got to ask them. Seems like there's some parents who would benefit, especially in different states. 12 other states that are still yet to, even medicinally. I don't care if it's recreational in all the states necessarily, but if you could go from one state to another with your child's medicine and get arrested, that's crazy. So if it's not medicinal in all states, it's almost dangerous, or it's like limited. You're restricting the parent's ability to do pretty much anything. I mean, even the whole Brittany Griner thing was kind of crazy, where they detained her for marijuana. I thought that was when Biden was about to sign an executive order to just federally legalize it in all 50 states. You know what I mean? But didn't happen like that. That's not the history we know. Maybe we just got to make a better one, you know, for the people in the future. They'll look back and they'll be like, yeah, those people stepped up. Those people understood what it was really doing. And understood that whether it's recreational or medicinal, it's not necessarily something to fear unless it's in excess. The excess is where the issues arise, even within recreational use. It's not always used as a medicine, but the fact that there are still states where it can't be used as a medicine is crazy with the amount of research that's been done. Anyways, that's my piece. I'm speaking my piece. You know, it's still a free country for now. So I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about, and that's about it. Anyways, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Good night.